we recently had an influencer reach out to us and asked to do a collaboration, and we respectfully declined because it was not in our budget right now. Then she essentially tried to blackmail us by saying if we offered the food for free, she would then write a good review about us.
But you cannot use fake ass ingredients. That pistachio color is about as natural as my boobs, ass, and waistline.
Hey loves. So over the weekend, while scrolling through TikTok, I stumbled across a viral video that had the whole internet debating about influencer entitlement. A patisserie owner from a bakery called JL Patisserie publicly called her an influencer who she says lied about her business and tried to blackmail them. Here's the backstory. This influencer named Glanorama reached out asking to do a collaboration, saying she had heard rave reviews about JL Patisserie. The owner politely replied saying thank you, but we do not have the budget for a collab right now. But that wasn't enough for Glanorama. She offered to post a positive review in exchange for free food. Now here's where things gets wild. The owner responds to her saying that she'll think about it and will get back to her, which most of us will take as a polite not yet. But instead of waiting for confirmation, the influencer turned up the very next day, uninvited, and filmed a negative review, blasting the patisserie's food. Take a look.
People, I do not mind spending $10 on a pastry if they are really good, but you cannot use fake ass ingredients. That pistachio color is about as natural as my boobs, ass, and waistline. The coffee was super sour and acidic, but I prefer a creamy chocolatey espresso. $5 for a canali. I didn't even pay that in Santro fucking paid, but that's the price next to the Phoenix airport. Okay. I was also super disappointed in the quiche. I prefer a quiche with a thick, rich, buttery crust. This had a paper thin crust. If I wanted to ingest this much eggs, I would have eaten an omelet. I absolutely loved the pumpkin pie croissant, but everything was a little on the sweet and rich side, which some people love. Personally, I like my sweets a little less sweet, so I'd rather get treated like shit and go to Paris baguette. Now, with all of that being said, I think if you stay away from the expensive ingredients like these nuts, you can definitely enjoy a delicious, rich pastry.
Right, guys, as I mentioned earlier at the start of this video, the first video I stumbled across was the patisserie's response to this video that we've just seen. It was that viral response that I saw that sent me looking for the original review. And after watching the review that we've just seen together, I honestly thought that the tone was too harsh. Look, I'm all for honest reviews, but there is a way to give feedback, especially when it's negative reviews. At the end of the day, this is someone's business, someone's livelihood. You can be transparent without being nasty. Now, in her review, the influencer went as far as saying that the pistachio is about as real as her boobs, ass, and waistline. First of all, that's unnecessary and disrespectful. And secondly, when the patisserie owner responded, she clarified that the pistachio paste that they use is 100% pistachio from Italy. So not only was that claim false, it also goes to show that the influencer probably doesn't know about food as much as she claims. You can't call yourself a food critic if you can't tell the difference between real and fake ingredients. To me, her review came across as more of a personal preference rant as opposed to a fair review. When you're reviewing food, you've got to judge what's in front of you, the flavor, the texture, the quality, and not whether it matches your personal cravings that day. And honestly, the tone throughout that video felt nasty and condescending. I get it, we all want honesty online, but nasty honesty isn't the same as constructive honesty. Because when you drag a small business publicly, you're not just reviewing food, you're affecting real people, their staff, their income, their reputation. And after watching the patisserie's response video to her review, which we'll see in a moment, I couldn't help but think that this influencer was just bitter. She was bitter because the patisserie refused to collab with her. Before we look at the bakery's response video to her review, I think it's important that we look at the messages that was exchanged between both parties before this whole situation escalated. Hello, my friends have highly recommended your pastries. They look amazing. I saw the pumpkin one on TikTok. I was hoping to come do a reel Saturday or Sunday. Would you be interested in a collab? Thank you. The patisserie responds saying, hi, thanks for thinking of us. Unfortunately, right now we have no budget at all to spare, so we wouldn't be able to do a paid partnership with you. Hope you understand. Thank you. To me, that's clear. She then responds saying, "Hi, thank you for your response. I'm not sure if you're familiar with my page, but I do honest reviews." Let's pause there. At the time of this conversation, Glanorama had about 8,000 followers on TikTok and the Patisserie had 43,000 followers. So the fact that she says, "I'm not sure if you're familiar with my page," as if she's a huge creator, just screams entitlement. Like 8,000 followers, be for real. Even Keith Lee, who is one of the most respected food reviewers on social media, wouldn't approach a small business with that kind of tone. Or any business, in actual fact. It's giving main character energy when the numbers simply don't back it up. She says, "I do not charge for my content. When it's a collab, I will still do the honest review and highlight, focus on what I enjoyed and be softer, quicker on my words with what I may not like as much." And this right here, guys, proves my point. Because she knows that there is a softer, more thoughtful way to deliver a negative review. She literally said it herself. So when she chose to go hard on this business, it wasn't about honesty, it was about spite. The title on her review was, "Please help me find a better pastry shop." If that's not being spiteful, I don't know what is. She was upset that they didn't agree to give her the food for free. And instead of waiting for the response, she took it personally. Then she says, "If the experience is terrible, I won't post anything for the kindness of the hospitality." So this goes to show that she knows that a bad review can hurt a business, especially a small business. But she still went ahead and dragged them anyways. Make it make sense. And this bit blew my mind. She says the meal will need to be compensated, including the gratuity. If this all looks like something you would be interested in, let me know. Thank you. To which the patisserie politely responds, "Thank you for clarifying. I'll let the team know and we will get back to you." She responds, "Sounds great." And guess what? She turns up the next day, uninvited. And she sends another response back to the patisserie after her visit. She says, "Hello, I never heard back from you. We went in this morning. The staff was very kind. The pastries are beautiful, but there was definitely more missed than hit from what we ordered." Once again, the patisserie politely responds, "Thanks for coming by and the feedback." Let's take a look at the patisserie's response to her review.
We recently had an influencer reach out to us and ask to do a collaboration, and we respectfully declined because it was not in our budget right now. Then she essentially tried to blackmail us by saying if we offered the food for free, she would then write a good review about us. I told her we'd think about it, but she still came in the next day. And although we hadn't agreed to collab with her, we recognized her when she came in, and we still were very accommodating and offered her extra drinks. So we totally respect a bad review. But what we don't like is lying and bullying. The first thing she said was that our pistachio was so faked. Fun fact, we have right here our pistachio paste that is 100% pistachios from Italy. All of our flours that we use in our product, the farine de blé, épeautre, gruyère rouge, all comes on a pallet from Europe. And also, this is our panettone flour, straight from Italy. It's written entirely in Italian. Not bad for close to the airport bakery. Beyond the fact that we spend 10 times the amount of money to buy the ingredients, the most valuable part of our product is the time we spend to make them. From our sourdough starter to our dough, every single thing is handmade from scratch.
To make this, we spent 6 months to learn it, how to feed it, know how to work with it.
And it only likes the flour from Italy. And this isn't just about me. This specific influencer has gone to many different local restaurants and bullied them. The problem is if the next generation is influenced by her to believe it's okay to bully and disrespect the food industry. We like working with influencers, but acting like the working class is beneath you and promoting this kind of message on social media and bribing us for free stuff is not really something we support. My biggest pride in what I've built here isn't just how I source my ingredients, but it's having found the people to be in my team that wake up every day and that care about what we do, our processes, and that work really, really hard to do this. And most of all, thank you to our customers, sincerely, because it's thanks to you that since day one, I get to live my dream of having a bakery. And thanks to your support, I've been able to continue to be as true to my art.
Firstly, I just want to say how thankful I am that this small business owner didn't stay silent. Because too often, these kind of influencers use their platform to intimidate small businesses, to bully them into giving things out for free or staying quiet out of fear of bad publicity. But not this time. I'm genuinely glad that this patisserie owner spoke up and defended herself and her business. I was honestly shocked that after all the back and forth messages, after the owner said, "We'll get back to you," I was shocked that this influencer still turned up the next day. That's when my interest in this story peaked, because I was like, hold on a minute. How does that make sense? You can't impose yourself on a business. And can I just say something? The owner seems like such a sweet person. Even though the influencer turned up uninvited, she still chose to treat her with kindness. She said they accommodated her, they gave her extra drinks, and that the staff were very nice to her. And that actually matches what the influencer said when she mentioned that the staff were nice to her. So despite being blindsided by an unexpected visit, the business still extended genuine hospitality. What more do you want? Now, this is the part that I absolutely love. The owner didn't just defend herself emotionally. Nah, she came with receipts. She calmly debunked every single false claim that was made in that review one by one. For example, the influencer said the pistachio was fake. The owner clarified that the pistachio was 100% real and was sourced directly from Italy. She also explained that the flour was imported from Italy, and she showed us the ingredients writing in Italian. Come on, that's proof right there. She gave us the behind the scenes of how they made their dough and explaining to us the length of time they spent in perfecting the recipes. That's dedication, that's craftsmanship. And I love that she highlighted the hard work and time that goes into what they do. It was a masterclass in how to professionally and respectfully defend your business online with facts, not insults. And guys, like I said, the patisserie's response video went viral. People could see it for what it was. They saw through the influencer's entitlement. They saw how Glanorama was using her platform to punish a small business simply because she didn't get what she wanted. And let me tell you, the internet did not hold back. People flooded her page, calling out her entitlement behavior and her bullying tactics. So of course, after facing all that backlash, Glanorama decided to respond. Let's take a look at what she had to say.
God damn, someone finally stood up to me. You know what, I gotta say, fucking kudos, for real. I respect that, I do. What I don't respect are the lies. So, here are the receipts. You want the truth, you can't handle the truth. I never said that I would leave a good review for a free meal. I have never done that, and I will never do that. So I think it's a bit of a stretch to say that I was bullying you. You have way more followers than I do. You are way cooler than I am. I will admit that. Like, I would love to have the online presence that you do. So if anything, you're kind of punching down. My video got what, like 7,400, I think, maybe 12,000, 13,000 on Instagram. It didn't do great. I also said nice things in that video. I actually do think if you stay away from the nuts, if you're like me that don't like that fake pistachio flavor, I still have one of your other pastries here. Well, this one was a pistachio, so it hasn't been eaten yet. But the pumpkin one that I loved and raved about, I'm not exaggerating. I ate it about 2 hours ago, and I will say it's been frozen for days since Saturday. Pulled it out after about 30 minutes. It was still phenomenal, and I'll stand by that. We also didn't get free drinks. We did get a free shot of espresso, which was so nice. Like, the Frenchman that works there, he was the sweetest man ever. I said I liked my coffee strong. He sent out a free shot of espresso. That was so, so nice. Regardless, Jenna, I respect your balls. I do respect your talent. It may not be always my taste, but I do respect your talent. I think you make beautiful pastries. I'd work on that quiche though. And I hope both your sides of your pillow are cold at night, and I do wish you nothing but the best.
So in her response video, Glanorama starts off by saying, "Damn, someone finally stood up to me. I respect that. I effing respect that." Now, to me, that line says everything. It goes to show that she's fully aware of the way she's been treating small businesses online. She's used to dishing out nasty reviews probably assuming that most owners wouldn't have the courage to respond. She never expected this one to stand up to her, and you can hear the shock in her tone. Then she tries to downplay the situation by saying that she thinks it's a stretch that the patisserie is calling her a bully, because according to her, the bakery has more followers than she does. So to her, it's not possible for someone with a smaller following to bully someone with a bigger following. And honestly, how ridiculous does that sound? Bullying isn't about follower count. It's about behavior and impact. Of course, someone with fewer followers can bully someone with a much larger following. If you post a harsh, misleading, malicious review, it can still damage a business reputation no matter your audience size. We've seen it happen here before. I've covered a story where an influencer with very small following made one review that went viral, and a restaurant ended up closing its doors because of the backlash. That's the impact a review can have regardless of your following count. It can shut down a business. I'll link the video above if you haven't seen it. So no, Glanorama, the size of your following doesn't protect you from accountability. The reason this bakery owner had to respond so quickly was because your video had the potential to do real damage to a business that she spent years building from scratch. And that's what makes this so spiteful. You didn't post that review to be helpful. You posted it because you didn't get your way. That's what makes it bullying. Then she says something else that just really made me roll my eyes. Like, really? She says we didn't get free drinks. But in the next breath, she says that they were giving free shots of espresso. What do you think espresso is? It's literally a drink. It's a beverage. So which one is it? You didn't get drinks, or you did get drinks, but just didn't count them because it didn't fit your narrative? This kind of contradiction just goes to show how unserious and inconsistent she was in her response. And honestly, it made her look even worse. Here's the shocking part. This isn't the first restaurant that Glanorama has done this to. According to the patisserie owner, she's been to the other restaurants before and has bullied them too. She even said it herself, "Restaurants hate to see me coming." Who are you, seriously? Another business owner shared a similar experience from a few months back. At the time, they stayed silent, but now with everything that's gone viral, they've come forward to speak out. Take a look.
Okay, I wanted to contribute to the conversation going around the JL Patisserie and Glanorama. And now that she's off the app, I feel safe. So, sorry, I'm a pansy. About a year ago, she came into my place of work here in the Valley and made a TikTok about it and posted it. And she was not kind. She was very mean. She didn't have anything nice really to say about where I work or how my service was. And I didn't say anything about it. I was quiet. And my coworkers asked me if I was going to talk about it or if I was going to post about it. And I didn't. I was quiet. We were quiet because we let the universe do the job for us. And it did. And all I can say is that I'm glad that another bully is off the internet.
So this wasn't a one-time mistake. This was a pattern of entitled, harmful behavior that Glanorama has been repeating for a while. But this time it backfired spectacularly. Truth and transparency always wins in the end. Despite her response video, people were not buying it. Comments after comments, people called her out, saying that she was completely in the wrong and that she was in fact bullying a small business. But she didn't stop there. She made another post trying to defend herself once again. Let's take a look. She says, "You won. This will be my last video. I'm done creating reels and TikToks for good. I offered to promote a business for free if it was good. Many content creators charge up to 4K. I do for free so I can do an honest review. If it's great, I post it with softer words. When I don't like something, for example, I didn't love this item versus this tasted like S. Still honest, just nicer." I'm wondering where the nicer was in that review. And if it's terrible, I give the feedback privately and don't post for the hospitality instead of blasting a business that invited me into their place. But girl, you weren't invited here. I went to jail and paid full price for my pastries and did not say who I was or ask for anything. Girl, they knew who you were the moment you walked in. I even had a hook, I thought, for a positive review when we arrived because I thought it was going to be great. I didn't care about they didn't want to collab. Most businesses don't, and that's fine. I know I'm controversial. I have thousands of DMs threatening violence against me and my family. If you stop to think for just a moment, maybe you will see the bigger picture here. A mob came after me. People hate influencers, and using words like blackmail and bullying can invoke rage. There was absolutely no blackmail or bullying if you read the actual messages. So of course, guys, one thing I would always be against is violence against people. There's just no need for it. There's no need to use violence. It's not necessary. We can call out wrongful behavior without being violent. And here what she's trying to say is that because the bakery owner used the word bullying and blackmail, she's saying that the bakery owner invoke rage. But look, Glanorama, really and truly, the bakery owner called it out for what it was. She wasn't lying. You did try to blackmail them. What you did, as far as I'm concerned, is bullying, despite the fact that they were so polite and nice to you. So she called it out for what it was. She wasn't invoking rage. She says, I didn't tell them to turn down the music. I couldn't understand a man with a French accent, but I didn't want to make him feel bad. So I asked if he could repeat himself because the music was too loud. Because I paid, I did an unfiltered review. I sent messages to Jenna showing her the bullying and she read it and did nothing. Just thanked everyone for their support. Right. So she's saying she sent messages to the owner, Jenna, showing her the bullying. But what do you expect her to do? You brought this on yourself. You made that review. No one asked you. You went there uninvited. You switched on your camera. You did a voiceover. You had time to watch your video. You had enough time to think about it before you posted it onto TikTok. You need to take responsibility here. It's not Jenna's fault. What's going on? Jenna just called out what you were trying to do to their business. You could have damaged their business. You did not expect this to flip the other way. When you put things out there, you have to be ready to face the consequences. That's why we really need to think about our actions and the impact it can have on us and on people around us. It's not Jenna's fault that you're being bullied. Stop it. She read it and did nothing. What do you want her to do? And just thanked everyone for their support. Yeah, she will thank everyone for supporting her. You could have hurt her business, her livelihood. I spent thousands eating shitty meals influencers told me were amazing so they could make their 2 to 4K. That's why I started doing this. I've been offered so much money and I've always turned it down because I wanted to do authentic, entertaining and honest reviews. Promoting a business is work. 2 hours to get ready, 1 hour driving, 2 hours there, 2 hours editing, 7 hours of work I was happy to do for free because I am a small creator, so I wasn't able to monetize on TikTok. I just found that really odd. Telling us you have 2 hours to get ready, 1 hour driving, look, we all have work. We all have to get ready. It's just no big deal. It's part of what we do. We get on with it. I just don't care that you have to drive 2 hours to go review a restaurant. You chose that. It's on you. That's your job. To me, that's just irrelevant. I never went after small businesses. When I had a shit meal, I wouldn't post it because I knew it could hurt them. So why did you do this one? I only left negative reviews on big businesses that I knew wouldn't actually be affected, and my hope was that they would do better. But the trolls win. This is not worth my life or my peace. You really should have thought about that before. You should have. I'm leaving Arizona. Thank you to everyone who supported me and was kind enough to message me during this difficult time. You will never know how much it meant to me. And guys, another response she posted in her story, she has a screenshot of the violence people have been sending to her DMs. And she says here, over a pastry, I have thousands of messages in my DMs saying things like this. To everyone who has checked in on me, thank you so much. It meant a lot to me. I'm not upset in any way. I don't take any of this personally. She then goes on to say, but I will say I think Jail Patisserie should not condone this kind of behavior. She's loving the attention and posting gratitude stories. Apparently, she will only not tolerate bullying if it involves her and I still do not think I bullied her in any way. I offered to promote her business for free while doing an honest review. Had it been a collab, I would have given her the negative feedback privately so she could have improved and not post a reel for the hospitality. Most influencers charge up to $4,000 for this and then lie about how great it is. I do it for free so I can be honest. And right after that, guys, she did something unexpected. She wiped her entire page clean. Every single review video she had ever posted on TikTok, on her social media, gone. According to her, she said she was leaving TikTok. But here's where things get interesting, because if you check her page right now, you will see that her likes still stand at 232,000. Now here's what people are saying. If she truly deleted those videos, her total likes would have dropped too. Which means it's very likely that she archived everything instead of deleting it. Many believe she's just waiting for the dust to settle, planning to quietly rebrand herself later on. And honestly, that theory makes sense, because even with all the backlash, she actually managed to gain a few more thousands of followers from the drama. So let's take a look at her final response, which is the only post that's still up on her page right now. She says, first and foremost, I want to address the fake ass ingredients comment. When I tasted the pistachio pastry, I noticed a strong pistachio flavor that reminded me of extract or flavoring, so I assumed that's what was used to enhance the taste. Maybe it was added, maybe it wasn't, but I want to be clear, they do use real ingredients as well, and I should have been more thoughtful with my wording. You should have. I also want to clarify something really important. My review was not revenge for being turned down for a collaboration. I had already planned to visit and review the bakery regardless, paid or not, but I understand with how things unfolded, it might have looked like I did it out of spite. That's not who I am, and that was never my intention. For those who followed me for a while, I always give honest reviews, good or bad, but I also understand now that honesty without compassion can come across the wrong way. It certainly can. When the collaboration didn't work out, I completely respected that and went in as a regular paying customer. My goal was still to give an honest review, but I see how that message followed by a negative video made it seemed like I only wanted free food or felt entitled, and that's not true. That was never my mindset, and I truly regret that it came across that way. To the bakery, I'm sincerely sorry for the harm my words may have caused. I respect the time, effort and heart that goes into running a small business, and I genuinely wish you nothing but success moving forward. At the end of the day, we're all human. Sometimes we mess up publicly, and all we can do is take accountability, learn and grow from it. Thank you to everyone who's reached out with kindness, and even to those who've held me accountable. I hear you, and I'm using this as an opportunity to grow and do better. Guys, anyways, whilst things completely went downhill for Glanorama, things only went uphill for JL Patisserie. People rallied around them, genuinely supporting the business, leaving kind messages and showing up in person. Their bakery has gone from strength to strength. At the start of this whole controversy, they were sitting at around 43,000 followers. And right now, as I'm filming, they've skyrocketed to a whopping 446,000 followers. My goodness, I love it when social media comes together to support the right businesses. That's incredible. They've had so many customers visiting their patisserie, posting their own reviews and spreading the word. And the best part, every single one of those reviews have been overwhelmingly positive.
On this episode of Exploring Arizona, we are going to JL Patisserie in Phoenix. This may or may not be my second time in a row coming to this place. Well, not this place, I went to the Scottsdale place, so technically it's my first time here. The first time I went, I feel like I was overwhelmed with the options and I just got like really basic things. But today I'm feeling a little bit crazy. So we're gonna try the pistachio croissant, and I also wanted to get this thing. When I went yesterday, the lady in line with me was talking about this and I just could not get it out of my head. I also really wanted to try the chocolate croissant, but they ran out when I got there. They have so much to choose from here. They also had tomato soup and I almost got it, but then I didn't want to like get back in line. It was a whole thing in my head. I just didn't want to do it. Okay, now this pistachio croissant was the most delicious thing that I've probably ever had in my entire life. Am I exaggerating? Maybe, I don't know, but look at this pistachio. It kind of looks like avocado to me. It's giving guac. There was also some chocolate in there. I am not a professional food critic, but this pistachio was pistachioing. It was delicious. This blueberry and lemon croissant was so freaking
freaking good. I am not a huge lemon treat, sweet treat type of person. What does that even make sense? The lemon wasn't overpowering. It was the perfect amount of sweetness. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Make sure you like, comment, and follow for more.
I know that that influencer is lying about the JL Patisserie bakery in Phoenix, and here's how I know. Because I have been to JL Patisserie many times over the last few years, and it is one of the best bakeries we have in the valley. Everything is made fresh, tastes fresh, so delicious, and that is how I know she was doing it to be spiteful. Her review was just all lies, and it was just to get back at the fact that they weren't willing to pay her for a good review. And she's gotten a lot of backlash for it, and she's now off of TikTok, deleted all her posts and left a message saying, I can see how it could be that I did it on purpose because they didn't pay me, but it truly was how I felt about the food, which again, she's lying. Not a single person in the valley will tell you that they went to JL Patisserie and did not enjoy the pastries or the coffee. It's top tier, and that's how you know that these influencers are being fake. They only do reviews and good reviews on places that pay them, and they're not honest reviews, even though she used to pride herself on doing honest reviews. So again, goes to tell us that we shouldn't believe everything that we see on social media.
Imagine calling yourself an influencer when you barely have 10,000 followers and then using that influencer status to try to blackmail what is arguably one of the best bakeries in the city of Phoenix in order to get them to give you free product in trade for a not as bad review, let alone to tell a French chef how they can improve their quiche when you can't even tell the difference between real and fake pistachio. JL Patisserie is arguably one of the best bakeries in the city of Phoenix. I've only been there a handful of times, but I still think about some of the sandwiches and pastries that I've had there, even though I haven't been there in close to a year. And let's not gloss over the audacity to call yourself an honest food influencer while you are simultaneously telling restaurants that if they pay you or give you free product, you'll gloss over the things that you don't like about their establishment. That's not honesty, that's being bought. The fact that every time I've been to JL Patisserie, not only have I had exceptional customer service and remarkable food, every time I've been kind of later on in the afternoon, a number of their products have been sold out, which tells me everything that I need to know about the demand for their products. Now, speaking both as a content creator and as someone who has been very active in the Phoenix food scene, working within restaurants, I think it's really important that if you're going to be launching this career into this, that you understand how close-knit and how tight-knit the Phoenix food scene is. You're going to burn a lot of bridges if you keep running things this way, and trust me, the followers that you're going to get by making reviews out of spite are not the ones you want.
This place has been going viral all over my For You page. This is JL Patisserie in Scottsdale, and let me tell you, this place was worth the hype. There was a whole line out the door. It was insane. Right when I walked in, it smelled like bakery heaven. First up, this chocolate pistachio croissant. Bro, look at those layers. It's flaky, buttery, and the chocolate hits different. I swear this thing could ruin store-bought croissants forever. Creamy! Next up, the blueberry pastry. Soft, sweet, and straight up amazing. This one's a total win. Definitely come for that. Next up, the mango raspberry cake. And bro, this one tastes like summer. Took a vacation in my mouth. Sweet, tangy, and way too good to share. That one slapped. Alright, next up, this pina colada cheesecake had me questioning if I needed a passport. Creamy, tropical, and straight up vacation vibes. This shit was fire. Alright, we got the butter croissant here from France. And let me tell you, it was airy, delicious, and I was lost in the sauce. Okay, finishing off with the quiche, and tell me why this thing slapped harder than I expected. Fluffy, cheesy, perfection. JL Patisserie was a hit. They got 2 locations, one in Scottsdale and Phoenix. Come try it out for yourself.
Oh, those pastries are making me hungry. I could do with some of those right now. Guys, in the end, while the influencers' attempt to humiliate a small business completely backfired, JL Patisserie walked away with massive support, free publicity, and a loyal new community behind them. Talk about karma working in real time. I love it when things like this happen. And with all this going on, even Keith Lee, yes, Keith Lee, the popular food critic, known for his fair and honest reviews, decided to weigh in with his own viewpoint. When Keith Lee gets involved in your story, that's how you know you've made it. Take a look.
So we recently had an influencer reach out to us and ask to do a collaboration.
I think it's a conversation to be had here, and I think it's very important. So let's talk about it. First, I want to say I commend the chef for her response. Not only was it respectful, it was insightful. It taught me a lot as somebody who do food reviews, because I love seeing the behind the scenes of what goes into making art. And I think making food is art. And I'm not saying none of this is a dog pile, because if you know me, you know I don't do the bullying, I don't do the dog piling, I don't do none of that. But I think it's accountability that should be taken. When I say accountability, I mean on behalf of the food reviewer. Not because she was honest and because she said she didn't like the food. I think when you start allowing money to dictate what your opinion is, or to dictate or sway anything that has to do with your opinion, I think that's when you're wrong. And I know it may be like, oh, you successful. It's easy for you to say that. I've been honest since I was on a Paw Patrol chair and I was on food stamps and I was sitting at the little breakaway table or little pull down table that my daughter had. So I'm speaking from experience. I think it's a lot of value in what it is that we do. But I think the reason why we get paid on social media is to be authentic and to be ourselves and to be honest no matter what. And I know a lot of people don't share that same sentiment, but I'm just speaking for myself. And I think it's important to not only say that, but actually put your money where your mouth is. And in my case, I'm blessed enough to say that we just sent 40 people to the state fair. And I specifically said people and not creators, because it was people who had 40 followers. It was people who had 1,000 followers. It was all the way up to 200,000 followers. But it was people who just love food. And with that being said, we coming out of paternity leave very soon. And I'm not saying I'm going to this restaurant, but what I am saying is that I love pastries and I'm a bread connoisseur. So if I am invited, I would love to come and get my honest opinion. Because to me, everything looked amazing, but I would love to come see for myself. And as always, I appreciate y'all. God bless you. Have an amazing day. I'll be safe. What you do with a little is what you do with a lot. If you say you're going to be honest now and you're not honest, you ain't going to be honest when you get 100 million followers. That's the way I feel. I'll be safe.
All in all, guys, I'm glad that this bakery stood up for themselves. I'm glad that they used their voice. And guys, let this be a powerful reminder to all of us, whether you're a content creator, an influencer or not, a reviewer, a commenter, or just someone leaving a comment. There's always a way to communicate with kindness. You can share your opinion. You can offer a critique. Do it without destroying someone's hard work. Because words have power, and she could have ruined a small business that someone built from the ground up. Thankfully, this time it didn't go that way. The truth came out and the bakery came out on top. Anyways, guys, that's all I have for you today. If you've liked this breakdown, please do not forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification button so you do not miss my next video. Till next time, guys. Bye.